Alright guys, and welcome back to this very specific Manor Lords video. My project building Rattay in Kingdom Come Deliverance is kinda coming to an end, who knows. It's also a question up to you guys, but what I will do in this video, I'm gonna summarize a little bit the experience I've made over that past, I feel like 10 hours. Up to 10 hours of gameplay here in building Rattay from Kingdom Come Deliverance, the roleplay game, and you know, I'm gonna from there obviously do like a little bit of a showcase as well, and then also, since it's kind of like a status quo update, also leave the question up to you guys if we should continue here on this save, which means which I'm gonna talk about in a minute. So we're hopping right in. It's always good if you guys remember the map of Rattay, right? But most of you guys probably already know it. So we're gonna kind of do a little bit of a showcase here. And I would say we're wandering around a little bit and see, you know, the progress here. So technically you would enter the city somewhere around here, right? That's like the main gate. I'm also gonna show it from on top later on. And so we're gonna wander around here. You know, we're gonna first show it from on top. Or, no, you know, it's fine, it's fine. And you are entering over here into the city. Towards the right there would be the city wall, right, of Rattay, and then if you would kind of go down here a little bit where the refugee camp would be Perkstein Castle as well. But since we can only build like one manor house in here, I built it on top or on the northeastern corner, right, because that's also where Hanush Castle, and that's where who we are actually kind of playing here as a roleplay character. So yeah, that's about that. Then over here you can walk this small road, right, along the not existing wall here, but would exist. And then over here is the first house. Not the first house, but one of the houses where you need to pick up a ring for Peshek, if I remember. And also over here we have our first tier 3 house, which is the weaponsmith. And there's already actually a weaponsmith in here working. With no iron yet, really, but doesn't really matter now. It's more like for the experience, right? And then we have over here a pretty big house, and this is kind of like the armor smith, as well as the tailor smith right next to it. So, and then over here, this is obviously the market square, right? Where you guys you know, where in the game is like a pillory and nothing really else. And then over here we have that's kind of like an entry gate. To the back on the right side you have the herbalist right there, as well as in the back if you would kind of climb the stairs here, you could go over and then jump into that house here. Where the bailiff is living or doing his job, right? And also lives, I feel like. So therefore I had to kind of, as you guys can see, do a lot of compromise, which I'm going to talk about in a minute as well. But, so I wasn't really able to fully build it in that order, right? Since obviously we can't really build any stairs, we can't really make houses which are sort of connected to each other, right? There are more like burgage plots which are separated, right? And so I had to do a compromise here. So that house right over there would kind of be like the connection between that house and the herbalist's house. And obviously the herbalist house is also rather small. That's another kind of a problem here, right? We can't really do super big houses, or I mean, that's the good thing. You have a lot of variety. That means not one house kind of looks the same than the other. Yeah, this is kind of a little bit boggy there, but that's okay. So that's why we also have those kind of big gaps here, right? And I wasn't really able to fix that, unfortunately. I wasn't able to kind of connect them to each other. I mean, I could have built them right next to each other, like those. But then again, you have not real sort of like a space where you can enter and then move up to the stairs to the bailiff, right? And that's also where most of the Aquarius quest plays out, by the way. Then we have St. Matthew's Church. I feel like this is, you know, we were able to kind of build it pretty closely, I feel like. And also over here you can walk around, right? You would have graves around here, and I use those shrines here for that reason. In the back there as well. And then over here is a house where you, in the game, can pick up your gear if you lose it, if I remember correctly. And then all over there would be the butcher's house. There actually is a butcher's in there right now. And then, you know, we can all walk all around here. We have also a trader on this side, technically. And then you can move all the way this way up to the upper castle, right?
Why do I have to carry this alone?
And then over here you would go into this city of, or move out of the city, and then eventually come to Neuhof. Over here obviously as well. Oh wait, I took the wrong way, guys. Yeah, it's that way. And here would be technically, yeah, we have the tavern here, by the way. This is where you meet. I'm not really sure if you meet Sir Hans for the first time, but here you have those kind of quarrels with Hans and you know, the beating and stuff like that after you deal with the quest from Nightingale, right? And then over here you would have like a small city wall, right? Or like another, or a second wall, I would say. Another second city wall. Where you first have the huntsman, right? Where the huntsman gives you the quest of the nightingales. In the forest, right? Where you have to catch those, I feel like. Or those birds. And then several other houses, as well as here, I think this house. Yeah, I think it's in this house where one of the pieces of the sword of Queen of Sheba is. And then over here you have the, technically you have another weaponsmith. And then over here you have that small chapel, right? Where, when you remember going up to the city. And then last but not least, I have built a small, yeah, Hanush Castle, right? I would call it. It's like the upper castle. And unfortunately you can't really build any castles yet. So that's why I'm arguing that we are kind of like in the founding, more like in the founding phase of Rattay, right? Even though that architecture would really fit into the 15/14th century anyway. And Rattay probably will be older, I guess, right? So, yeah, but that's also, I feel like that's not even too badly done. You have, obviously in the game it's much more bigger, especially that house here, right, where Hanush is staying, and then also like the wall itself, right? Here obviously we were able to do wooden palisade, but usually you would have a stone wall right around it. And then, you know, I'm gonna show you guys here a little bit of the outskirts where you have a few burgage spots, and eventually you leave, you would come to the tavern up there, right? As well as down here, small refuge camp around here, with a kind of like a farm or something, right? Then, yeah, obviously you can see, guys, in like the broader term of the, how do you call it? In the broader term of the like anatomy of the city, we did pretty well, I would say. It was actually pretty doable, especially with like the main street and moving up until Upper Castle. But obviously, like I would say then, like I said, like the bigger picture is, I think you can actually recognize Rattay. But in the details, you know, if we check on details, we had to do a lot of compromises, or at least We had to chain things up or delete things which are in the game, or we weren't able to do something specific but would be in the game but not in Manor Lords and so forth. Yeah, so first of all, we had, obviously I used those tier 3 houses here because obviously these are like the major houses in Rattay, and if you see them, those are like also the most beautiful ones. Now obviously you could say, yeah, we could have also upgraded those to tier 3, but then, they wouldn't really do any difference compared to these houses anymore, right? So that's why I only built up or upgraded these to tier 3, while the others are mostly mixed tier 1 and tier 2, because I feel like in the game it's like a combination of these two tiers anyway. Then also, you will notice, in the game, I mean, you have those backyards, like, if you, for example, walk this road in game, you can see, there are chicken coops, maybe some small garden even. I don't think small gardens, but like, there's some space, maybe some other huts and so forth. So you actually have those spaces. But unfortunately, you can see the gaps are, I feel like, still a bit too big between the houses. Especially, I mean, this one I already mentioned over here. Here it comes down with like the whole construction itself, right? I mean, I can't really build houses into each other, which is a problem. So I wasn't really able to kind of adapt here, from KCD into Manor Lords. The same occurs over here, where usually you would have also, by the way, why is this? Where you usually would also have, where you usually would also have connected houses here as well. And then also, yeah, obviously, I mean, the city wall, I can't really build any city walls, that's missing. Here would be an archery range, I can't really do that. And then obviously a lot of things come down to the geography, right? So obviously Rattay would be built on kind of like a hill or something, but here we are in the flat area. So that's also like a missing point I can't really deal with. With like the geography as a whole from the broad terms itself, since I don't have any rivers, right? Because there's like a small creek in the game. You have rocks, you have, forests obviously would be different and so forth. So, geography, we can't really talk about that. That's just something we have to deal with anyway. Yeah, I feel like that's about it with my, compromise I had to go forth here and there, right? Here, obviously, as well, these houses would be much more connected to each other, but once again, I had to kind of adapt there. Yeah, stone walls, obviously, a thing, and so forth. So you will see definitely a lot of details which I could have changed, which I maybe could have changed, but most of them I can't really deal with them, at least not at this point right now. But doesn't stop me from doing it all over again eventually with another city or so, right? Who knows? But to come back to kind of like to the overall topic, I really dig that project here, because like in the broader term we were actually able to make the best out of it, and I feel like with that one it was actually doable. Also, you need to remember, guys, right, that we have a lot of with the city you have to do obviously also like the whole survival of the people, right? So we always had to make sure that the city does not only look that way, but that it's also available to sustain itself, right? Especially since we only had one territory here. I didn't really expand any further right now, so that's why I'm pretty happy with the result here. Yeah, also, just to remember, guys, most of the houses which have like a specific like or specification, right, or they do a certain task in the game, I also tried to get those. So for example, over here you would have the tavern, right, where the tavern in the game would be. Then you have obviously churches, then you have the armor smith here, which unfortunately I can't really build since I don't have the extension yet, but would be in here, right? Then the same occurs here. We have the weaponsmith, for example, or blacksmith. Herbalist we can't really build yet. Also, others we can't really assign, or you know, the bakery would be my next thing. Would be in here, but like, you know, I don't have it yet. Bakery would be, trader is not in the game. The grocer is also not really in the game. And the tailor smith, not really. We do have the cobbler over here somewhere. Yeah, that's the cobbler. That's also where the spot of the cobbler is in the game. But we also don't have the herbalist, the tailor, and so forth. So obviously there are a lot of things not in the game yet. Or at least, yeah, not yet, right? So we'll have to wait for that, I guess. But yeah, once again, that's kind of like the full summary. I did really enjoy it over the 9-10 hours. I also really enjoyed your interest in the project, guys. That means a lot, actually. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I was actually surprised that this kind of project would speak to you guys in that sort of term. And so I want to say thank you at the end of the video here. I probably should have also said it at the start. And even if I missed it, I want to say also thank you for the beginning, guys, or since the beginning, that you guys are supporting the project, also are following me on YouTube, and that's actually quite meaningful. But I will obviously do a separate video on that matter eventually as well. And yeah, so this is kind of the status quo right now, right? So now it's kind of like into the future, where you guys are asked, should I continue doing this project? Which means we're gonna enhance Rattay further, which also maybe would lead to the point that we just, you know, that we try to keep it in the manner of the city, but enhance the city as a whole. Fill in certain jobs and so forth, but also expanding, right? Which means maybe eventually building Skalitz or Talmberg or Sasa or whatever, right? And with different territories. So that obviously is a question for you guys. If I should do that, please let me know. For me personally, I will probably do a little bit of a break right after that. And also, yeah, I will probably mention this in a separate video. My time is also kind of like my main issue, right? I can't just put out 10,000 of videos here, so that's kind of thing. But that's kind of like the question for you guys. If you would say, yeah, let's do it, let's not. Yeah, let me know anyway. And yeah, once again, I did really enjoy that project. We got pretty far, I guess. Rattay was, like, is in the broader term, actually, I feel like you can actually see it. But obviously with compromises and things we had to adapt and so forth, and things which are still missing. But I'm obviously looking forward to that. The future of Manor Lords itself, right? I feel like there's a lot of more content which can, you know, come into the game here, and also make sure we'll make sure that we can also make better cities in terms of like KCD terms, right? So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, I will see. You know, I will see if I will maybe do in the future a city, Kuttenberg, for example, right? We could build Kuttenberg from KCD2 in Manor Lords, which is a completely new scale and stuff, and probably will not happen soon, but just as an idea here. So yeah, I feel like that's about it, guys. I hope you guys did like that summary. Once again, let me know if we should continue the series here a little bit and see what we can achieve, or what else we can achieve or could achieve. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone, and I want to say thank you all of you guys supporting the channel, following, commenting, liking, whatever else. So thank you very much, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.